welcome back to Between Two Screens. It's my pleasure to have Chris McDonough from Mary Cook Associates on the show today. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Ari. This is really kind of fun and cool. Appreciate you reaching out to me. It's a good opportunity.
Absolutely. So where are you in the world right now?
So I am in the Chicagoland area, as we say here. So Mary Cook Associates, I work in the city, but I actually live west about 25 miles of the city, kind of a town and country situation.
Mm-hmm. I noticed you've been in Chicago for a long time.
Yeah.
What do you love about Chicago?
I grew up here. I'm a Midwest guy. I've traveled, a little bit, but being an architect and interior designer, love just all the neighborhoods and everything Chicago has to offer. But I also do like, kind of being away from it sometimes and retreating to my house. So we always say, we like the seasons here, and it's true, except for some of those days where you really don't like the seasons.
Yeah, that's how we are in New York as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I'm talking to someone from Los Angeles, I tell them I love the seasons, but then there are those February days.
You're shaking your head at it.
Right. Exactly. Would love to take the chance to ask you a couple of more personal questions.
Sure.
Cool. So roller coasters, love them or hate them?
Love them.
Okay.
Love them. Yeah. I can't do the spinny rides anymore, but man, the roller coasters, all in.
Sweet. What's your go-to drink or cocktail at a bar?
I am an Irish whiskey kind of guy. And so I lean toward that in general. And then I'll do like an Irish mule. I'll kind of mix it with some ginger beer, some lime. That's a go-to, certainly right now in the summer too.
Yep. Favorite sandwich?
I'm a big fan of like Cuban sandwiches. Those are really good. Sometimes I don't even know what's on these things. If there's one on the menu, I'll go for it because I don't get that stuff that often. It's so simple and basic, but I'm a BLT guy actually. Super fresh, crispy bacon, and I'll throw a fried egg on any sandwich.
Yep.
And I'll order it.
Cool. Do you have an architect that living or past that is sort of your
Right.
inspiration or who you look up to the most?
In terms of like, current work, current design, I've always been drawn towards sort of the sculptural projects. I mean, certainly Calatrava's work is just beautiful as a sculptural element, as a visual sort of thing. I love that. It's funny, in college, we looked at a lot of the more, I guess, classic ones in terms of clean, simple, volumetric things. Like Louis Kahn to me was always very powerful of spaces. It's funny, I do tend to appreciate a lot of different styles, for better or for worse. And what's kind of interesting is that's really how Mary Cook Associates works. And even my past life at Getty's, I've never really had like a style. It's always project, market, client driven. So I do like drawing from all sorts of different genres, I guess, but more definitely on the modern, clean but warm side. Yeah.
Have you been teaching your daughters architecture and design, sort of infusing them with your love of it?
Yeah, it kind of happens organically, certainly, as we're driving around. I'm always pointing things out or saying, oh, I really like that house. And then they just start to weigh in on it. Obviously, with my own home, is if I'm redoing a bathroom or something, I like when they weigh in.
Sure.
And then, on a really smaller fun front, I mean, we are a little bit Lego crazy here, I'd say. Mm-hmm. So both my daughters have always really loved building with those and with the kits and all that. And it's funny, I always really liked doing them just with them. I mean, it really is fun. So, and as we've been looking at houses in our neighborhood and elsewhere, they have opinions about it now, which is really kind of cool.
So on the architecture and design front, is this something you were interested in from a young age, or did you come at it from a sort of different industry?
Yeah, no, what's interesting is I gravitated toward it even, kind of in middle school, high school, with like drafting classes and things like that. I think I always appreciated the technical and the artistic side. It wasn't anything that came out of my family or anything. It was just sort of me, ending up really appreciating it. And then in college, just, picking that major, and then, just really loving architecture and design. And I think, Chicago probably did have a subliminal kind of impact on me. Just, my dad and parents always took us to the city, and just always wanted to. And I've remained in it for the last 25, almost 30 years now. So, yeah.
And about half of that time you were at Getty's and you moved your way up to be a principal there.
Right.
What led to the transition to a new firm, and how has that been for you?
Sure. No, honestly, I loved every minute at Getty's, learned a tremendous amount, and really immersed myself in the hospitality side. I think it was just an opportunity in my life last year when I took a break, just wanted to sort of take some more time, honestly, for myself and for my daughters. Had some personal things happen in my life that just kind of reset my priorities a little bit. And so, never really had a game plan of staying in one aspect of the industry for my entire career. I have kind of moved in a relative way that related my project experience to the next firm. And so this opportunity came about, and, we're more residential or multifamily residential, student living. So those scale of projects and that type of project type really interested me as I moved into maybe thinking about a new chapter. What's really interesting about my experience at Getty's and how that was really like a turnkey approach, right? We had a lot of projects where it was design, branding, design, procurement, installation, the whole thing. That's how Mary Cook Associates is structured. We handle everything soup to nuts from that project type on the residential side. And so I really liked kind of challenging myself on, bringing that hospitality side to the residential side. Mary and I talk a lot about this word, hospidential as a word, because that's really what a lot of the residential and multifamily projects are wanting, is that sort of communal and open hospitality type of feeling in those projects. So yeah, just a kind of a good serendipity kind of thing in terms of migrating my career.
And your role is the chief design officer. For those who aren't so familiar with like the hierarchy or the structures of architecture and design firms, I ask this to all our guests. Is there anything around you that is a source of meaning or inspiration that you could share with us?
It's funny. Two things I would point out. One would be, it's funny. I have these like railroad spikes on a bookshelf downstairs that my dad gave me. And my dad worked on the railroad his whole life. I mean, worked his butt off. And I don't know, those spikes just kind of sit there, and it does really register with me around, what his sacrifice was, and just hard work, and just sort of that blue collar Chicago industrial kind of thing. That's something I've had with me kind of forever. And then more on the project front or the professional front, I've always appreciated, Hotel 21C. I'm sure you're very familiar with that hotel chain. They have the penguin, right? That art piece, that icon, that signature, and the color. So I visited a handful of those, and I always buy the damn penguin, because it's such a great thing that they created, that reminds me you can create that for any project. You can sort of have, what's the penguin of the project. I've actually said that on projects. I've put it on the table. It's a fun thing. I don't know. That's something for professionally I always think about, like, is that something we should try to create, or a lens that you'd think a project around is, what's the penguin? So that one always kind of resonated with me.
Well, it's really nice to catch up with you. Wishing you a lot of success in the new role. It's a new role at a new time in the world.
It is.
Life.
No, I know. New chapters for everybody, right? It kind of balances and equalizes everybody out. So it's an interesting, good time, I think, for me to kind of start that next step. So appreciate this opportunity, Ari. It's really great to see you again.
Absolutely. Too. And then hopefully when things start opening back up and we're able to see each other in person, we'll get some Irish whiskeys and take it from there.
All right, cool.
All right, Chris. Great to see you.
Yes, thanks, Ari. Take care.